Guys, I think that 13th level is just special.
Why is that?
Because you get 7th level spells at 13th level.
Way to jump right into it. I think that might have been the fastest that we got to the point.
I didn't have a cold open. I didn't have one I had thought of already.
Well, have you heard about Jimmy Donaldson?
Who?
Jimmy.
Mr. Beast?
Well, I mean, some people know him by that, but we're good buddies. So me and Jimmy go way back. Obviously, I don't know if you have.
He is from the same state as us.
Yeah, and he is only a couple months older than
The same
me.
state
Or
of mind?
I think I'm older than him, perhaps. That's weird.
Really?
What were you going to say
yeah.
that he's Jesus?
I mean, I should say he's Jesus, but I actually listened to a very Jesus-like figure recently, our Lord and Savior, Moist Critical, and he explained a wonderful story to me the
I've
other
seen
day.
it.
Yep. It's an incredible story. This man, Jimmy, I'm going to call him by his first name again, he had the audacity, the gall to go out here and try to be philanthropic, right? He tried to go out. He gathered 1,000 blind people. Blind people.
Disgusting.
This is absolutely disgusting, first of all. He gathered all these people up, and he gave them sight. He gave them sight again. This man, I cannot believe he did that.
What a piece of shit.
I know. Literally the worst person I can think of is this man right here. But this is exactly, apparently,
The problem with the world.
Exactly. This is exactly what Twitter sounds like apparently right now, and then social media. They're talking about how Jimmy is apparently some sort of demon for
He's
giving these
demonic
people
because
sight.
He gave them sight.
But why? It doesn't make
Drew,
any
how do you
sense.
not understand?
No, I mean, I totally get it. Like, we go way back. Like I said, I get
Don't
where
you
they're coming from.
Don't you understand that it's his fault? Like, that because he keeps paying these companies to do these things for people, that like now they're just pushed to do it even more. Like, how could, and he only wants it for the clout. He wouldn't like. Can you believe that?
Oh.
He only wants it for the clout. He only wants to be famous off of this. He wouldn't do it. He does good things for clout.
I can't believe he does that, man. It's
disgusting.
Not worth giving 1,000
Disgusting.
people sight to be cool.
No.
It's just not worth it. I just don't understand why
No,
he did it.
I'd rather them stay blind.
And we're canceled, boys.
We did it! Cancel
Yay!
percent.
We're as close as we've gotten to the line.
Oh my god!
I'm satisfied now.
It's absolutely insane. The people are so mad about it. It's been big news this week too. Like, so many people have talked about how everybody's like, so many people are mad.
Which I think it's hysterical because I was listening to the video and I was like, wow, this guy, he's really doing it out here. He's really making a difference. He's living his life to the fullest and really changing the world here. And then I listened to Charlie and he's like, yeah, everyone thinks he's a demon. I'm like, what? What is happening?
Speaking of Charlie, one of my favorite streamers, Ludwig, is now a part of his esports community. So he partnered with them and will be making his own esports teams under Moist, which is very cool. Also, you'll be happy to know, Drew. So, as we all know, I'm going to be making some big life changes, and I made one as far as my wardrobe goes.
Oh?
Yeah, I'm throwing out a lot of my old like t-shirts and stuff because I'm going to be in uniform 5 out of the 7 days of the week.
Okay.
So I'm throwing out a lot of my like old clothes and I'm replacing them with minimalist type of clothes.
Cool. Okay.
Meaning I ordered some white and black tees from Moist.
Ooh.
So I've got a pack of 3 white tees and a pack of 3 black tees on their way.
See, I don't think he had the black tees when I was in the
He
market.
did it, now he does.
Oh, he's got the DLC t-shirts.
Yeah, and he also sells tank tops and gym wear now because he's been wearing them lately. But I'm not going to buy those because I don't need them.
Man, you're going to have to send me a little pic. I got to see that drip. I'll
send you a pic of the drip when it's here.
Ooh. I'm surprised he didn't call it the drip just because of the little tear on the bottom.
Yes.
I'm sorry to be the audience surrogate here and not knowing all that much about Moist Critical, but is that seriously his merch? Just plain white tees, plain black tees?
Yeah, so he, in almost his entire career, has just worn a white T-shirt on when he's on camera and stuff, and that's just what he wears because he's a very simple guy.
That's what Jesus would do.
Yeah, and so he's just a very simple guy, and so his merch, he went out of his way to make super comfortable, just plain white T-shirts and plain black T-shirts. And they have his like little Moist logo at the very bottom right, like in the spot where you would get a logo on a shirt.
Got it.
So that's it. Like it's just plain shirts. And I'm
okay with that.
I'm excited to own them. It was now because they're slightly higher quality than your Walmart brand. It was $40 for 3.
I'm not okay with that.
Well, that was 3 though. That was 3.
Yeah.
I don't think it's
3 shirts.
completely unreasonable.
3 shirts.
That's true.
It's like 12. Well, in that was before shipping, I believe. So it's like what, $13 a shirt.
I think that's reasonable.
I've paid
I think that's
$40 for a shirt before, so many times actually. So I find it very cheap because for this shirt that I'm wearing right now, it was probably about $40-$50.
I'm gonna be honest. I don't know about you guys. I wear a lot of like button downs and things that kind of close up over like an undershirt. I would pay good money for some quality white shirts just to have underneath.
Yeah.
So now that you've done it, I might just go buy a couple more, maybe a new pack.
Get some black ones too.
I might get some. Do they have like different colors or just white and black?
White and black. What? Are you an animal?
Oh well, of course not. Don't want to go too off the rails there.
Yeah, but none of those special colors.
You're gonna start putting pictures on your shirts now, idiot.
Can you imagine you buy a Moist Critical white T-shirt, you put a logo on it or something?
You make it into a T-shirt.
Yeah. Just you tie dye it. Oh, that's
You
actually
get
pretty
it
good
printed.
idea. That's pretty good.
Oh my gosh.
No, I just do an iron-on.
Oh no, you go to like
yeah.
one of those spray paint places and get them to put like a decal on it.
Oh yeah, decal my shirt, please.
Yeah.
That's such a weird concept. Going to like with your T-shirt, like, hey, spray paint this for me. But yeah, that's the news. That's the news with Jimmy Donaldson.
The monster. Honestly,
Disgusting.
Absolutely insane. The DCU slate got announced today. James Gunn at the head of it. And that was pretty insane. I'm not a DC fan at all. Actually kind of excited.
Really?
I saw their slate and I was like, oh, James Gunn's at the head of this. I trust him. I trusted him with Guardians of the Galaxy. I trust him with DC. And they announced like their slate out to 2025 featuring a whole lot of characters I've never heard of, and then, Superman and Batman. And I am extremely excited to watch one of the shows and see if I like it.
Yeah, we'll just have to see. Though I am disappointed because I don't know if you boys heard, but Batgirl finished filming.
That was forever ago.
Yeah,
Zach.
yeah, but it's been fully canceled and featuring Brendan Fraser. Brendan Fraser, guys.
I'm glad they did that instead of releasing another bad movie.
That's
because
entirely
obviously they were going to release another bad movie. And you know what? It's a movie. I guess they could put it out there just to show us it was bad. But all the movies have been bad, and I didn't need another one. I skipped watching Black Adam, and he changed the hierarchy of power in the DCU universe.
Yeah, isn't he supposed to be like all powerful and legit?
He's like an anti-hero Superman.
I don't actually know if he's DC or not, but I still want to watch the Punisher series at some point. I'd like to see if
I can't
it was
believe
okay.
you just said those words on air.
I actually don't
You
know.
were confident enough to say that.
I like the Punisher.
He's a Marvel character.
I like the Punisher. He's very cool. I like the guy who plays him, which I can't think of his name, but he's what is his name? Shane from The Walking Dead.
That's his name.
Yeah, that's his name. Shane. Shane from The Walking Dead plays Punisher.
Oh, it's John Bernthal, I think.
Yeah, that's what I said.
And if I just said that on air and it's wrong, then that's even worse. But
Shane the Walking Dead is a good one.
Shane the Walking Dead is his name.
And last but not least, before we actually talk about a topic, I can't believe we haven't mentioned it up to this point. The Last of Us?
The Last of
The
Us.
Last of... Have you watched any of it, Drew?
No, I've seen
Oh
the
my
trailer. I've
God.
seen the trailer a couple times. I'm getting hyped up about it.
Zach, how did you feel about episode 3?
Yeah, so when we're recording this, episode 3 has just come out. By the time this airs,
Maybe I'll put this one
probably, yeah, probably the whole series will have been out, but we'll see. In any case, I loved episode 3, and
Oh my God.
the entire. There was one reason and one reason only that I committed to watching The Last of Us as it's coming out, and it's because I love Nick Offerman, and I heard that he was playing Bill, and I just thought that is the perfect casting, and I was right.
I didn't know he was that talented of an actor. Like,
It was that good?
yeah. I mean, I didn't know that I didn't know that the other guy too, the guy who played Frank, he's in a couple other movies, but I'm not a big movie buff, so I don't know all of their names.
Yeah, I can't.
But
I would say you're kind of
escapes me
buff.
as well.
But I liked him even more.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh my God. Now, this is it was like a self-contained story, Drew. Like, you get the story from The Last of Us of like Joel and Ellie, still traveling on their way.
Yep.
And, brief spoilers for The Last of Us, since all of us know the game storyline. It's not like we're spoiling anything for any of us here.
But if you haven't played The Last of Us, just quick disclaimer, go turn off this episode right now and go play it.
Yeah, it's about 13 hours if you start now. And so with with the show, like the first 2 episodes followed pretty much the same. You know, they were pretty much, you know, not beat for beat the game, and they skip a lot of like the shooting, the pew pew moments.
Yeah, really, what I'm hearing is the biggest complaint about The Last of Us is just how much they're deviating. But all the shit they're cutting out is just the video gaminess of it.
Yeah, they're
I don't need to see Joel kill 17 people in a row and, you know, not even think about it, really.
We've seen him kill one guy brutally, and we've seen him take down some clickers. And the clickers moment was just like the game. Like they were walking like they were behind cover, doing the stealth stuff.
Yeah, I thought that was really funny, actually.
I loved it.
When they were crab walking along the floor, I was like, you're making so much noise. Stand up.
Yeah, and I loved the clicker scene. I had a great time with it.
Absolutely, I did as well, and I liked. There was very thoughtful rearrangement of elements because they didn't encounter the clickers in the leaning building, but the leaning building was still there,
and the hotel was moved up from Pennsylvania, or I believe is it Pittsburgh?
Pittsburgh.
Moved up from Pittsburgh, so it doesn't take place there. It takes place earlier. And Ellie walks through water, instead of acting like she's gonna drown every time she touches a single drop of water, in the game.
And you know what I'll say about that is that definitely, like, it didn't take me out of it at all, but it did make me like zoom out and think about how many video games have I played where I've walked through knee-high water and not even thought about it, but like, oh my God, that must be the worst. They walked through that, and then they kept on walking for the rest of the day. They've got blisters all up in there. They got the soggiest socks.
Yeah.
I can't imagine.
no.
And not only that, but like I'm gonna have to be doing this kind of stuff in basic training, and like with a gun in my hand, like walking through like swamps and stuff. And I'm looking forward to that. But yeah, I thought the same thing where I was like, that's gross. But also it made me zoom out in a different way where I thought back to the game and I was like, if Joel can walk through it, why can't Ellie? Like I know a lot of times Joel had to swim in those portions, and Ellie's like, I can't swim, so let's go get this plank that you wouldn't actually float on. But it did make me think back. Now, what really made me think back to the game, though, was episode 3, because damn, if they had that, like if they had that kind of relationship in the game, it would have been cool. They can't really do that, right? Like you can't really do that in a video game because you're behind your character the whole time. But basically, Drew, we get the story of Bill and Frank. Now, if you remember in the game, with Bill and Frank, we just find a note from Frank, basically him committing suicide to get away from Bill.
Right. Well, he'd been bitten, and they were separated because they were arguing or whatever. But like the note that we get from Frank is like super vindictive, and it like, you know, you can tell that they definitely cared about one another, but he seems like just a huge asshole.
Yeah, and so he dies. And we never really hear anything else about Frank, and we spend a lot of time with Bill. You remember Bill from the game. He's got the crazy traps all over the place, the tripwires, things like that.
Yep.
Well, this episode, you know, we start off with a little bit of Joel and Ellie. This is shortly after, you know, Tess has died. And we get some really, really solid moments with the two of them, and then it leads into him being like, okay, well, what do you like? What about Bill? Blah blah blah. And we lead into Bill's story, how he's like this conservative, like conspiracy theorist,
doomsday prepper.
Yeah, doomsday prepper, conspiracy theorist. He has this whole bunker underneath this house that we get to see. You see the very first scene where he walks outside and he's in his gas mask and everything, and he's aiming around every corner in the city like he's like a shock trooper or something. I was laughing out loud watching him act, and I was like, man, this is good. And then it leads into him like meeting Frank being like a very like forward personality, and like really coming into Bill's life at like a perfect time. And then we get an hour of like shot for shot love story between these two characters all the way up to their old age. Like 17 years, I believe.
Yeah, which this really expands on the world of The Last of Us as far as I'm aware, because we also see Joel and Tess like maybe 5 years after the outbreak
when they're young.
Yeah, I really, you don't have that frame of reference in the show. It seems like Joel and Tess were together for a long time, and
Yeah.
It wasn't so much of like a, well, yeah, they probably are like a thing, but like they're not a thing. Like it definitely seems like they're whatever it is.
They're
that
not
they
like a
have.
married couple, because we still get the line from Tess in the show that is her being like, I know you have some sort of obligation to me. She's not like, I'm your wife, I'm your girlfriend. She's like, you must have something in there. So Joel obviously has shut off a lot of emotion and is just here for whatever reason. But so we still get those lines from her. But then leading into actually seeing them young and interact, where Tess is just this nice young lady.
Yeah,
and
they've been friends and companions for the longest time, at least, though. Which in The Last of Us, the game, yes, it's very impactful that Tess dies, but in a game full of impactful moments, you almost forget about it. I feel like this is it means a lot more knowing that they had all of that history.
Yeah.
In the game, I could have been convinced that they met in the last 3 years or something.
Yeah, and honestly, that's kind of how I felt about it, where I was like, oh, they've been partners for a little bit in, like, crime. I didn't even know if they had a relationship at all, but, like, it's very clear in the show that they did.
Yeah.
And also, we get some protective moments with Joel and Ellie, where, like, here at the point we're at in the show, Joel is already showing, like, concern for Ellie with things, where, like, he was like, oh, we can go up that way, but I don't really want you to see what's up there, so, like, let's not go that way. Where before, we didn't really get those moments until almost winter.
And I'll say it's probably pacing, right? Because we want to get to the tenderness a little bit faster. We won't have as much time in fall and winter to, like,
I think episode 5 and 6 are when we're really gonna see it.
Yeah, but it's interesting, the message that Joel and Ellie leave Bill's place with, because in the game, the message seems clear that you don't want to tie yourself down with loved ones. Bill considers those to be attachments in the game, and ultimately it's just going to hurt you in the long run, as we see when Frank dies and leaves Bill all alone. But in the show, spoilers for this episode, and again, this is a big one. It's a big diversion. So if you've even played the game, turn off your ears. But rather than Frank committing suicide and leaving Bill alone, Frank and Bill are old. Frank has some incurable disease, probably cancer, and he chooses to go out on his own terms by committing suicide by overdosing on his medication.
Oh,
and
he asks Bill to do it to do it for him.
No,
not with him, to do it for him. So he's like, hey, he wakes up. He's like, today's my last day. And Bill is like, no way. And now they're old men at this point. And Frank is like, if I'm gonna go out, like, if you love me, you're gonna let me go out how I want.
Oh, that's cold.
Now, but it's so good because we get to experience their entire day, like it's like a like a montage,
he
like
says,
cut together.
Yeah, let me have my perfect day. They get married, which they hadn't done up until that point. Frank makes Bill go down to the boutique, and they get dressed up, which Bill doesn't like to do. And there's just this perfect tender scene.
Bill makes him the dinner that they had on the first day they met, which we see earlier in the episode, with the same kind of wine and everything.
Wait, so you see their whole relationship in one episode? This is over
17 years of their relationship in one episode.
Dang, is that the majority? How long are these episodes? Is it an hour?
It was an hour and a half.
Yeah, hour and a half.
This one was an hour and a half. The other episodes, first one was a little over an hour. The second one was like 50 minutes, and then the rest of them are going to be like 40 to 50 minutes. But this one was an hour and a half, and it couldn't have been. Every minute counted. Because you get to the end of this episode, and Bill, Frank drinks his wine, which has been overdosed, because that's what he asked Bill to do, and he's like. And then Bill drinks his wine, and Frank goes, like, you already put you put a ton of pills in the bottle too, didn't you? And Bill was like, don't think of this as as a suicide, like a traumatic, like, suicide or a tragic death at the end of the movie. Like, I'm ready because you're the reason, like, I live. And so the two of them go to bed and die together.
And so when Joel and Ellie show up, Bill's already gone. And they just find this note from him where he leaves them with
all his stuff.
Well, yeah, he says take all my shit, and sort of hinting at Tess. He says basically he leaves a note that says to Joel or to whoever finds this, but probably Joel,
Which is so funny.
Yeah. Basically, he ends it off with take care of the people you love the most. That's all that matters. And so, first of all, ouch, that hurts, because he knows that Joel and Tess are, they're just they're not romantic. They're not lovey-dovey in any sort of way. But he sort of like pushes him in that direction a little bit, because Bill was very much the same way. But now Tess is gone. And so we're just left with Joel and Ellie.
So good for the lead up of the other episodes we're going to get after this, because it really helps like get ready for Joel's decision at the end that we know he's going to make, where because we're going to get ready for that moment where like, okay, we know the right decision here and it's not about to be made, because he has to protect one person, not everybody.
Yeah, but I will say, I think the decision is way, again, spoilers for the end of The Last of Us now. In the game, it makes a little bit more sense, because the goal from the beginning of the game is get Ellie to the Fireflies, because she's immune, because she's going to cause, be the cure for the zombie outbreak. But in the show so far, it's really been, well, no, I just don't know what else to do. I got to go help my brother Tommy because he seems like he's in trouble.
Well, we know about the cure, though.
Right.
Like, we know that she...
No,
she
we know that exists, but that's not the driving force, at least not in these early episodes.
Yeah, the driving force right now is like, hey, which we did see a demeanor change in Joel last episode, where he was like, okay, I am 100% going to take you there. I want to, but in order to do that, we have to go find my brother Tommy. So that's been his big thing right now, is like, my brother Tommy is important. He knows the Fireflies. We'll get out there. It's just like, man, I legitimately I think they did the episode better than it was in the game. Like, you couldn't have told this story in a better way. I cried like 3 times in the episode. Just
same.
At different moments. Like, they hit you at the beginning with their relationship, they hit you in the middle with their relationship, and they hit you at the very end with the decision, where I was just standing there just like, oh my God, I can't believe this is happening on screen right now. To the point where I thought about it the rest of the day, and I've been thinking about it all week. Like, you'll have to watch it, Drew, just because, like, the amount of, like, emotion I felt the whole time. Oh, my God. The strawberry moment, I cried.
I didn't cry at that moment, but
It was so beautiful.
When Frank and Bill sat down and he told them what he wanted to do, I didn't stop crying for the rest of the episode, pretty much.
Oh, my God, yeah.
But that's the thing about The Last of Us, and I know we're going to talk about D&D soon, so hold on there,
Probably
audience,
briefly.
Yeah. But the thing about The Last of Us is that, it just leaves... I really think, more than any video game that I've played, it definitely left a lot of emotions with me. But The Last of Us Part 1, the first game, really leaves you overall with, like, this sense of hope and... there's still good out there. I'm really torn as to whether or not I'm going to be able to watch season 2 of The Last of Us, because I know The Last of Us Part 2, super controversial. I'll just give you my take. I loved it, but that game gave me depression. not seriously, clinically, but I could not stop thinking about that for weeks after, and my mood was just in the dumps, because how sad. I've never been so sad because of a piece of media before.
And what I'm hoping is, honestly, I've heard so many different takes, because I loved the game as is. Like, the way we played it, the way Drew and I played it when we sat down, I loved the whole game. The moment you change over characters is the most controversial part, because so many people are like, the pacing is bad or whatever. Like, Moist Critical Charlie had a whole, on their podcast the other day, they were talking about The Last of Us show and how it's good, and they had a whole argument between their friend group as to whether The Last of Us 2 is good or not, because Charlie and, like, his best friend Matt are very, like, it's bad pacing. They're like, they're so against it. They're like,
really?
It's bad. They're like, you cannot say that game is good how it is. Like, it needs to be rearranged. Whereas some of the other guys in the group, I actually agreed with, where they were like, well, that's it, because to me, in my eyes, I'm like, I was hurt so bad by it all because of that, and that's why the game is like one of my favorites, because it hurt me.
Right, and that's what they were trying to do.
Right, that's why I love it so much, and and because what Charlie was saying, and it was like, yeah, they should be, you should really get time to work up to leading into knowing Abby better and everything. Maybe you kill Joel later, blah blah blah. Like maybe they change the pacing to where but to me it all just sounded like that's how most games work, and I liked it because it made me feel things I had never felt before playing a game.
Oh my gosh.
So yeah, going into season 2, I think they'll split season 2 into 2 parts, into I think so too. Ellie's side and Abby's side. And by then we'll probably have Last of Us faction stuff, which is it's their multiplayer game, but it's gonna have story content for whatever factions you're a part of. So you're gonna be getting like Naughty Dog writing, as well as they've recently we got like some news from them that was like, hey, we're not planning a Last of Us Part 3 right this second, but if and when a story comes to us that we want to tell, we will return to it. Which tells me, like, okay, give it 7-8 more years and we'll have a Last of Us 3 coming out. Which I think would be fine. It's just it needs to be a really compelling story, because I do like where we left off, but I also liked where we left off at Last of Us 1, and they gave me an amazing part 2.
Yeah, absolutely. I think if I'm ever to return to The Last of Us Part 2, I need there to be more. I need this to end on a sweet note, because ooh boy.
When we get to season 2, I'm gonna play it. Like, I already want to play part 1 again because of watching the show, where a lot of people I've listened to have been playing to the points where the episodes end and being like, okay, wait for the next one, and then play to the next point, like along with it. And I'm just like, man, that's so good. The only thing the one thing that I don't like, the tendrils with Tess, that portion where it like kissed her, was gross.
Oh, it was absolutely disgusting. But I'm a big fan of the new concepts that they're introducing, because in the games they don't really explain how the monsters work outside of like game mechanics, but like the fungal roots that go through the earth and how they're all connected, and like they have a hive mind. It made perfect sense for the thing to come over to her, realize she's infected, and then like send its little gross tendrils down into her body to infect
Now, did
her.
you happen to watch Matt Pat's Game Theory?
No.
So before they explained it in episode 3, Matt had figured out how the virus spread, when obviously it's spreading by bites, right? Because Ellie asks in the episode, if it spreads by bite, how'd the world get infected in one day? That's stupid. It doesn't make sense, basically. Like, that makes no sense. And Joel explained Matt Pat's theory on the episode because Matt Pat was like, notice how in episode 1, Sarah asks, pancake mix. They don't have any pancake mix. Notice how you never see any characters except Ellie eat any flour-based products, because the Fireflies have given her bread. Continue to notice how like you only see Joel and Tess eating like jerky. And at any given point, you don't see them eat anything flour-based, because batches of like mass-produced foods had been infected with the cordyceps virus and distributed. So Joel and like the people who didn't get infected didn't eat flour the day of the outbreak, or any grain-based product, like any flour-based products the day of the outbreak. So given that, like, you could see where these characters were seconds away from dying. It explains how the grandma got infected at the beginning of episode 1.
Right. She made cookies.
She made cookies and had eaten a cookie. So it explains how all those people had gotten infected for us really well. Because a lot of people were like, oh, they change it from spores. Because in the game, it's spore-based. It's airborne. That explains it. Like, that's all you need to know, is it's airborne. So that explains it pretty well. But then you get into the show, and it's like, oh, well, this makes a lot more sense.
I kind of like that. I think it's an interesting take on like a zombie apocalypse sort of vibe. You don't really often hear about it being food-based, Like you usually hear about like it's a wild animal or something, or some crazy like alien comet, hit the earth and there was something crazy, bacteria on it or something like that. So that is an interesting take that I haven't seen before. So I'm excited to learn more about it.
Yeah, well, I mean, are they really zombies, Drew? They're
Get out of here.
It's so funny.
They're infected.
They're infected. They're clickers.
So I have talked to my fiance Eric, and I told her that she has to pick one. She can either watch the show with me or play the game with me. Otherwise, I'm taking the ring back, and I can do that. She's at this point, we're almost married, so she's basically my property at this point. So I'm able to I'm able to
I can't
work
believe
with
you
her.
just said that on air.
We're testing the lines, boys. We're testing the lines. So I'm trying to see what I can get her to do here. I think I might be able to get her to play the game.
Just get her to watch the show. I think she'll enjoy it far more. She will not enjoy the game as much.
Yeah, Zach's girlfriend Eric loves the show.
Yeah, you have said that.
Yeah, and she's not played the game.
Yeah,
But I feel like it's not going to be as good as
show.
the game, though. Like it's not going to be that full experience.
I think it is. To be honest, at this point, I think it is the Last of Us story through and through. Like, to where if you had watched the show or played the game, like if you had done one of them, you can talk to people who have done either.
Yeah,
Like-
absolutely. I will say The Last of Us is a perfect gaming experience, though.
Yes,
so,
it is.
So I think the show is doing a great job of replacing the elements that were perfectly captured through a game in other ways. So,
And you feel like
I
it
don't
would
think
be fluent?
yeah, I don't think you'd be missing out on anything. I imagine it's going to end the same way. I imagine all the main story points are going to match the same place. I'm pretty sure the one place where people talking about the show versus the game are going to be like just confused is episode 3 with
But
Bill
in
and
episode
Frank.
3
Okay,
is,
okay.
I would say, I'm not going to say objectively, subjectively, is better. Like,
I agree.
the only thing you don't get out of it is Ellie doesn't meet Bill, so you don't get the cool like lines between them where Ellie vibes with Bill a lot in the game, and you get some really fun like vibes, like you get some really nice moments between them that are very sweet.
Well, it's really just funny because she's a little shithead and he's like a big toddler, so he's like, "Don't touch my shit," and she's like, "Whatever, dude."
Oh my god! And can I say how Bella Ramsey has impressed me like the most out of everyone so far? Like Pedro Pascal has done amazing as Joel. Don't get me wrong, but he is just Joel. Like he is Joel through and through. Bella Ramsey is a new Ellie, and she's so good at it. Like,
Okay.
Honestly, she's giving me it's not the exact same vibes as the game, but she's giving me very similar vibes to where like I don't really notice the difference when you're watching the show.
I feel like she's a little smarter than the Ellie we get in the game at the beginning, as well as she's a little more like affected by the fact that she lives in this kind of world, because we see her like when Joel beats down the guy. At first, she's almost like into it, where she's like, oh, like she's happy someone's protecting her, almost like she's looking at it like, holy shit, and like she kind of likes it.
Yeah, and then she finds that one infected.
Then she finds the one infected, and she's super excited to like kill it.
Yeah, she's like dissecting it. She's looking
Ugh.
inside what it.
I had to look
looks
away.
like.
I went, oh, and looked away from the screen. I was like, no, because she like starts like messing with the skin on it because it's trapped, and like cutting it open with the knife that we'll see in season 2 for sure.
Oh,
because
for
she
sure.
carries that thing around everywhere. But yeah, she's very much like, you can tell this is a kid who was born in this day and age. And also she gets into the Chevy and is like, it's like a spaceship, and she's like messing with everything. I loved that because she'd never been in a car, and she's a teenager. She's never been in a car.
That's so weird to think about, never being in a car.
Yeah, she was like, whoa, this is so cool. It's like a spaceship. And Joel's like, this thing's a piece of shit. And then my favorite moment probably when she pulls out the cassette. And I think this is like line for line from the game probably, but he's like, no, don't. And she puts it in. She's like, yeah. She puts it in. She starts playing it. And she dislikes it. So she goes to turn it off. And she goes, wait. I like this one. And like stops her. And I was like, oh, I love this so much. Like, it just really teaches me why this is in like my top like the upper echelon of games for me. And to be honest, we don't have a whole lot of time. So what I might want to switch gears, because we're not going to be able to talk about 7th level spells.
No.
That's fair. That's
It's been
reasonable.
35 minutes.
But don't you feel like Joel's kind of a spellcaster, though?
So what I would like to propose is, what system do you guys think a zombie apocalypse works the best in? Because I've thought about doing a one-off that is more of this like horde-based game for quite some time. Welcome to TableTalk Friday. My name is Seth Pittman. I'm joined by my two best friends, Zachary Carmon and Andrew Romano. Hope you boys are doing well, but we've got to talk about my topic. But after playing a game like Monster of the Week, I was like, ooh, does a zombie apocalypse work well in that? Does it work well in more of like a system neutral thing like Fate Core, where which we haven't played that, so I don't really know. Or can it work well in like a 5e like horde-based setting? But I've always considered doing like a zombie-based storyline or something like that in in a tabletop role playing game, and I really want to try it at some point.
Yeah, so I do have some experience with this because the first Monster of the Week game that I ever played was zombie apocalypse setting. So I'll say I had a blast in that, but there are a lot of different genre of zombie story. Mine was definitely more Zombieland, and I think Monster of the Week really lends itself well to, there's hordes of zombies, and they're all rushing at you at once, and all right, well, my character's gonna pick up a car and throw it at him. Like, okay, that's what I always go back to because that was my favorite moment of the session. But like, you can just do that, and because your characters feel so powerful, it's very like, you could do what you want of it. I'm sure there's a way to run it Monster of the Week with like serious zombies too, though. I think like I don't know if this is the most serious zombie story I could think of, but Resident Evil, like the first one, I'm thinking like, you beef up these zombies with lots of hit points, that you have them keep getting back up, that sort of thing. You could swing that really well too. And I was surprised by, in our one session of Monster of the Week, how well you were able to spin it in that horror direction too, just by giving the creatures that we're facing, these specific rules and making them feel unique. So I'm sure there's a way to make a horror Monster of the Week, but I think I don't know. I've always wanted to play a D&D, like Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition zombie session, and I may or may not have one planned. But
ooh, okay.
Oh, little spoiler drop.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys will ever get to it, but one day.
I gotta be honest, the idea of a Monster of the Week in a zombie apocalypse setting sounds absolutely dope. I don't know how serious I'd want it to be. I think I would definitely want it to be very jokey. I imagine being like a Leon Kennedy and his team, you have Ada and Claire kind of all infiltrating the police station to, I don't know, take down some zombies. You have to go find like the Licker or the Nemesis or something like that. That would be pretty sick. But I feel like it would definitely be more fun if it was goofy like that. With my limited experience on different systems, I would like to see how it works in something like 5e, just because I feel like a turn-based system would work very well in something like that, where if you're trying to make it more serious, more, waves of survival, Call of Duty, like Nazi zombies kind of a vibe, I think that would be very fun for more like tactical perspective.
I think tactical wouldn't work in Monster of the Week.
No, definitely not. Definitely not. You don't even get really turns in there. You kind of just do what you want to do.
Exactly. So I'd have to hit you with hits, like if you were to fail a roll. So then it would become dangerous very quick.
Yeah, I think if I were to run my ideal zombie session, it would be in D&D, and I'd probably put you all at low level, so maybe like third, and then whatever you're using primarily to fight the zombies is going to be like a limited resource. Things like alchemist fire, things like clever use of grease or webs, or any
maybe
sort of thing.
Magic has since faded like a whole lot, so you have to have like expendable charges.
Sure, yeah. We're holed up in a wizard, like an ancient, long dead wizard study. We've accidentally tripped his mechanism, releasing like the zombies, and so we've got to pull together whatever we can find from his equipment to hold them off as long as we can.
I like that as a mechanically fun session, but hear me out, because here's my idea, and it may be because I'm just so into this style of game, but I'm thinking like three or four sessions, right? Like a typical story arc. And it is Monster of the Week based, and it works very mechanically similar to like The Last of Us. So I'm thinking like sneaking around, avoiding things getting the drop on a zombie so it can't make a move against you. And what I'm thinking storyline wise, because you can't do the same story, it just takes place in the world of The Last of Us, right? Is say you guys are a part of, I'll just give an example. It could be any faction, but let's go with the Fireflies, right? You guys are part of the Fireflies, and you have to go on like a supply run, something simple, where it's like, okay, you guys have to go on a supply run. You're going out to pick up one specific. You need to go get a car battery, just like we've seen already in the show. So yeah, say you guys need to go get a car battery, because you have somewhere you need to be, and or your car broke down and you need to get enough juice to charge it. So you guys need to defend yourselves, go check out the surrounding area, and get back and keep going. So I'm kind of into that vibe where, yes, if you guys take on like the zombies head on, it's going to be extremely dangerous and very difficult. I mean, based on your roles, obviously, it depends on how it goes. But if you can continuously like get the jump, like their weakness is not knowing you're there. So that would your weakness to get there would be, okay, you need to be stealthy enough and get a good hit in. So I don't know. That sounds really fun to me, and that would be a session where I would have like a little comedy. I would take it very seriously. But I'm also very into your guys' ideas too. But that's just my idea one I would want to run.
Well, and I will say Monster of the Week I think might be a little bit more fun for that like Last of Us style survival horror where there's a lot of stealth involved. Because while D&D has much more robust mechanics for stealth. Everyone would be a rogue, and everyone would have expertise in stealth.
You would all have a minimum of 21.
Yeah,
stealth.
and then why are we playing?
And you'd have one person who can cast Pass Without a Trace.
Yeah,
just for 3 hours, critically hitting every zombie and killing them instantly. It's like, oh wow, this is fun, boys.
Yeah, no, I would. I'd say Monster of the Week. You have to act under pressure, or you have to, really, it'd probably be a lot of acting under pressure. But that's I think that's par for the course for Monster of the Week. That's the thing you roll when you're not hitting something, but you're in danger.
And I think the character classes serve themselves very well for a Last of Us type of setting. Not the magical based ones, but more like the ones that like just randomly have stuff that they need. So it's like, oh, I'm going to reach into my bag and I could really use a lighter right now. And you pull it out. Or like, oh, I'm going to, if only I had a can of gasoline in the trunk that I could use to light a fire. Oh, there it is. There it is. I found one. Like randomly in the survival world. So
sure.
I do think it serves itself very well. So I don't know, maybe I'll consider that for the future. Just like maybe when we're all really into, like right before the season 2 drop of The Last of Us, and we're just like, oh man, I'm really feeling vibes right now. We'll play a session of it.
I'm here for it.
I'm gonna be honest, because I've been thinking about running Monster of the Week for a while now, since we've played it a couple weeks ago.
Long while.
Long while. Good long while. I've been really pondering it. I've been thinking about it a lot because I really want to run it for my household, just my roommates and whatnot.
They'd have fun with that.
I think it'd be fun. But going after a ghost or doing like a quick rescue mission in a zombie apocalypse also sounds really fun. So I think that could be really simple, and honestly, you just give everybody like a certain amount of ammo. I think because that would kind of counterbalance you have unlimited actions sort of a thing without the turns. So I think it could work. I don't know how zombie bites would have to be. I'd have to think about how the infection has actually spread in this world, or how it does, or maybe it's your harm points, like you get bit so many times before it
I think you
like
can't get
4.
bit. I think all of the harm that they deal has to be the environment around you. Like the zombie pushes you over and you fall and land on something, as opposed to them actually biting you, and you only deal the final blow, like they take the bite or the scratch or whatever, if they hit 8.
Oh, okay. See, but I do want them to walk around bit though, and I feel like at 8 they have to kind of die. So maybe it's like a 6 or something.
Maybe they hit 7 and they're going to die, but you let them keep going, or maybe they hit 8 and you give them an hour with the players.
Ooh,
you give
that's
them an hour,
cool.
and if anything happens in the meantime, they could go ahead and turn. Like they could turn at any time.
Oh, there's just like one vaccine or something you can access.
Yeah, the rest of the players decide, okay, well, it's time for you to die.
So I'm into this zombie apocalypse Monster of the Week, but I do think it only serves to be fun for 3 to 4 sessions in a row.
Oh yeah.
Only because you're only dealing with similar creatures, and you probably get like 1 or 2 different creatures each time. So maybe the first session you deal with regular infected. The second one you deal with your first clicker. Third one you deal with maybe multiple clickers, and the final one you're dealing with like a bloater. Along with like, some regular infected or something, like your big set piece.
Interesting question to pose, just because I can't stop talking about The Last of Us. In the show, they mentioned, or Ellie, I think, brings up like, oh, what about one that like throws spores at you or something? That definitely seemed like she was talking about a bloater, and they sort of brushed it off like, yeah, that doesn't happen. I'm wondering if that's because Joel's never heard of a bloater.
We know there's a bloater in the show.
Do we know there's a bloater in the
show?
show?
It was in the trailer, the first trailer. Like, for the trailer before The Last of Us showed a bloater.
I thought that was the Shambler.
You mean the clicker?
No, it wasn't one of those big fat ones that
that's a bloater.
No, not the ones that the bloaters are usually ones that launch stuff. I thought there was a big fat one that just walked around as a tanky guy.
Yeah, that's the bloater, but they also throw things.
I thought he was called a shambler. I'm
we
crazy.
know
I don't know what
it'll-
I'm talking about.
We know it'll be there.
Okay, well then never mind. I don't watch trailers for things, Seth.
I was so excited for this show. I had to know. Can I just say how glad I am that we got a good, like not only just a good, but a really, really good video game show right now, and how sad I am that I'm about to be gone and I have to watch it all when I get back.
Yeah,
Because episode 4 is going to come out. I'm going to watch it before I leave, and then I'm going to be just waiting the whole time.
But you'll have at least, you'll have slightly over half of the show to watch.
That and do you know how much Kind of Funny content I'm going to have to catch up on when I get back?
Too much.
I'm going to have like 80 plus episodes of podcasts to listen to, and I will listen to every minute. Well, I won't listen to all the Kind of Funny Games Daily stuff because I can catch up on the headlines in like 10 seconds.
Think about every war movie, though, where the soldier's running through the battlefield. There's explosions, and there's soot on his face, and he dives into the trench the last second, but it explodes behind him, and he has to reload his gun really quick before everyone infiltrates, and then he realizes he's going to go. This is his last stand, and he pulls out of his pocket the little picture of his wife. Seth just pulls out a copy of The Last of Us, like, I can do this.
No, I pull out I pull out the Kind of Funny Christmas card I got. It's just Greg Miller's face. And I'm like,
I'll do it for you, Greg.
I'll do it. Greg, I'm here for you. And
The
put it back.
strength to go on. Make sure you pack well, Seth. Pack well.
I did. My bag has been packed for weeks, and you know how anxious I am? I unpack it and pack it like almost every day. Like I pour everything out to make sure I've got all the right stuff, and then put it back in.
Well, it would suck if you didn't have everything.
Well, I definitely have everything except my phone charger because I'm using it.
Watch you forget it.
You watch me forget it.
Well, it'll be off most of the time anyway. You'll just turn it on the last day to like give me a little sneak call.
No, well, every now and then I'm gonna be able to make like phone calls and stuff.
You have 100% charge. Be okay.
Yeah, maybe.
make 2 phone calls.
Yeah, so it's gonna be crazy. This is gonna be we got our live play coming out, but this is like the last episode we're recording before I'm gone for a while. So
the next Seth you see is gonna be boot camp Seth
and bald.
Yeah.
Oh, that's what we'll end the episode off with. Okay, my kid. So first of all, I'm holding my buddy. I forgot his name. Leonard. My buddy Leonard. Yesterday, one of my kids was my last day in Ninja Nation. He brought me in this super cool gift. Leonard, and it was really funny because all the kids were like, "What kind of animal is it?" And I was like, "What are you saying right now?" And I acted so offended because my little buddy Matt, who gave it to me, is there. He's 11. And he was like with me, like he's backing me up. And so I was like, "What do you mean? What animal is it?" They're like, "What, is he like a dog? Is he a lion? Is he this?" And I said, "He's Leonard." I was like,
Leonard.
I was like, "What do you mean? You're making him sad." And my little buddy, my buddy Matt is like, "Yeah, you're making him sad." And I was like, "Stop bullying Leonard." And he's like, "Stop bullying him." And so I'm. And all the kids are laughing as we're standing around. And I'm like, "Stop! Look, he's crying. He's feeling bad." And so I'm just sitting with this 2-foot tall squishmallow lion with rainbow fur, just like, "Stop! You're making him feel bad." But what I wanted to talk about is a couple of my kids gave me letters for the road. You know,
Mm-hmm.
one of them, my Hadley, she gave me my Ninja Name Coach Cute cookies. And she came in with a handmade note on a white piece of paper yesterday. And it was like, "Thank you, Coach Seth." And then inside, it was, "I hope you have fun in the Army. Thank you so much. Have fun in the military. And I hope you're stronger than all the other guys in the military. P.S. Send me a picture of you bald." Because she found out on Monday that I would be shaving my head. And she was like, "Why? Why would you do that?" And I was like, "Well, that way no one can pull my hair if I'm fighting them."
It'd be fun to reason with a small child like that. Like, yeah, I don't want to pull my hair.
Well, when I said that, one of the other kids goes, "That's a really good idea."
Shaves head immediately.
Yeah, that's what he said. Now the other one was really sweet. It was, "Hey, Coach Seth," and this is the kid that was sick, and he had the head cold, but he came in just to see me to give me this note with his mom. And so he gives me the note. I said goodbye. I gave him a hug. Got sick today because of it. And then, I read the note, and it was like, thank you for being such a great coach and for sticking around as long as you did. And he said a bunch of sweet stuff. And then at the very end, it says, P.S. Please don't get shot in the Army.
Nice. Nice.
To end it off is just, please don't get shot.
That's good karma. That's good mojo
yeah, I've
your
got
way.
the wish of a bunch of kids, behind me. The power of friendship. And Hadley, when she left, she goes, see you in 5 years, because she anticipates me working there again in 5 years.
Oh, no.
when I'm not enlisted.
You have to come back now,
Yeah,
Seth.
you should.
Oh, we'll see.
A great idea.
Anyways, thank you for listening to this episode of Table Talk Friday, a D&D podcast, but also a Last of Us podcast, as we learned today. You can find us on patreon.com/tabletalkfriday, where good old gamer is our producer, Eric, for the time being, and we're loving every second of it. You can also support us with many other things and via bonus content that's over there, bonus episodes, like as far as like post shows go, extra stuff, early access to all of those episodes. You're going to get so much cool content if you go over to patreon.com/tabletalkfriday. But if you don't have the bucks to toss to me and my friends, you can find us on YouTube at Table Talk Friday. You can find us on Twitter at Table Talk Friday, and you can find us all over the internet at Table Talk Friday. Please, we're all over there. I'm liking and retweeting other D&D people's stuff all the time and acting like I did it myself.
I made this.
Yeah, I I made this. But in the meantime, can I please have the bloater take me out?
Oh boy, I was hoping you'd call on me. I'm so glad that I get to I get to end this episode off. Sorry, I've got a small man.
Seth is resuscitating his doll right now, and I just can't continue the bit.
Leonard! Come back to me!
Oh no, Leonard. I hope he's okay. If you want Leonard to be okay, you should. Oh well, I guess we ended the bit. So don't do anything on Patreon. That's it. That's what the bloater says. Don't do anything on Patreon. It's a bad place. So says me, the bloater.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.